Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's Cone back here again today with another episode of After the Buzzer, the show where I recap the NBA games from the night. And we had a classic in Game 2 of the NBA Finals and went all the way down to the wire. You got crazy performances from the stars on both sides. You had back and forth comebacks. You had some crazy role player performances. The Heat doing their thing and knocking down a bunch of threes. The Nuggets having this crazy offensive ball movement. One of the biggest reasons why each of these teams is incredibly entertaining, and it came all the way down to the wire with Jamal Murray just barely missing a three at the buzzer that would have sent this game to overtime and probably caused Ball Arena in Denver to literally burn down. But the Heat survived just barely, and they move on to Game 3 of the NBA Finals, tied 1-1, becoming the first team in the NBA playoffs to win a game in Denver, and the first team overall to win in Denver since March 12th. It's been almost 3 months since the team has beaten the Nuggets in Denver. Miami manages to pull it off, continuing this unbelievable run that they're on. Like, they just won an NBA Finals game, and I still can't quite comprehend what is happening with this Heat team. None of it makes sense, but the way they won this game was by doing a lot of things similar to what they've done these entire playoffs. In particular, the three-point shooting was critical for them. Last game, they shot way under their average for the playoffs, shooting around 33%, so it felt like they would probably bounce back in Game 2, which is exactly what happened. Not only did they bounce back, but they had an incredible shooting performance. You had Jimmy Butler going 2 of 5 from deep, Kevin Love hit a couple threes, Max Strus was 4 of 10 from 3 after being 0 of 9 last game, Gabe Vincent shot 4 of 6 from deep, Kyle Lowry hit 2 threes, Duncan Robinson had 2, Caleb Martin hit 1, and overall they shot 17 of 35 from 3, good for 48.6%. It's hard to beat Miami when they shoot that well from deep. They were lighting the Nuggets up, and a lot of them were contested. It's just shots that the Heat have been hitting. This is the reason why they've been so successful compared to how they were in the regular season. In the regular season, they couldn't hit a three to save their lives, and now they've been the best three-point shooting team out of anybody in the playoffs. It's been a strategy that's been working. You get downhill with Jimmy Butler, you attack the basket, you kick out the three-point shooters, you swing the ball on the perimeter, and you knock down those shots. And again, a lot of them were highly contested. It wasn't like the Nuggets were just leaving them open from deep. The Heat were just making them pay for even the slightest bit late of a closeout. Not to mention the fact that they won this game with very little Jimmy Butler heroics. Now, he had a big three towards the end of the game. He had some big plays in general, but he only finished the game with 21 points, 4 rebounds, 9 assists. He shot 7 of 19 from the field. He wasn't phenomenal in this game. Now, his defense was great on Jamal Murray. The Heat went to Kevin Love in the starting lineup in this game, which allowed him to guard Aaron Gordon, letting Jimmy Butler therefore guard Jamal Murray, which was a great switch from Eric Spoelstra, who is just a phenomenal coach, and that was super key to this game. Jamal Murray last game was unstoppable, and in this game he didn't have a bad performance. He ends up scoring 18 points. He shoots 7 of 15 from the field. It's not great, but it's not terrible. He did have 10 assists. But it's not the 30 pieces that Jamal Murray has shown that he can drop on basically anybody throughout the playoffs. And if you can limit Jamal Murray like that, it goes a long way to stopping the Denver Nuggets. So I like that switch a lot from Eric Spoelstra. Great chess move early on in this series. And Kevin Love played some pretty good defense on Aaron Gordon, and just having that size as well, preventing Aaron Gordon from having the hot start like he did in Game 1, was critical to Miami taking an early lead and allowing them to stay close even when Denver hit them with an avalanche in the second quarter. Really, the main heroes in this game for Miami were Bam Adebayo and Gabe Vincent. We'll start with Bam, who's been incredible through the first couple of games. He's got back-to-back 20 pieces. The defense on Nikola Jokic, even if he still hits these incredibly contested shots, has been stellar so far, even when he's not specifically guarding Jokic and more so roaming or playing in a zone. The defense has been stellar. Bam Adebayo, so far, in my opinion, if the Heat end up winning this series, would be my pick for Finals MVP. He's been incredible up to this point. When he's not on the court, the Heat look like they don't belong in the playoffs, never mind the NBA Finals, and that shows by Cody Zeller's minutes. When he's out there and it's not Bam Adebayo, it's a complete disaster. And every single minute that he wasn't out there, the defense completely fell apart, which was part of what contributed to the Denver Nuggets finding their rhythm and having that crazy second quarter avalanche that I talked about a few minutes ago. Zeller just... he played okay offensively, but defensively, it's just nowhere near close. Not even in the same stratosphere as what Bam Adebayo brings to the table. The Heat are going to need Bam to play well over 40 minutes per game, in my opinion, if they want to win this series. He played 40 in this game almost exactly. I think he's going to have to play more than that, up to 43 minutes when they're in Miami, which wouldn't surprise me because I think the altitude is playing a bit into the rest factor for the Heat. They're usually playing their guys like 43 minutes. Like Jimmy Butler only played 40 minutes as well. I think when they get to Miami, obviously those guys are going to play a lot more, but when you just face the altitude issue in Denver and you're getting exhausted, you do have to rest guys a lot more than you typically do, so I think that's something that will change when we get to Miami. But yeah, I just want to shout out Bam Adebayo. The aggression offensively has been huge. They're having to keep their eye on him when he's out there, whether he's hitting mid-range jumpers, getting to the basket, finishing plays. He's doing a bit of everything offensively. The playmaking too, he had 4 assists in this game, and there were so many other moments where he was a connecting piece to a set. Bam's just incredible. I think he got a bit underrated after his disappointing Celtics series. He's bounced back in a big way against Denver, and they're going to need a lot more like this from Bam if they want to win. And I do think Bam can continue to replicate this. This feels all like stuff that we've seen flashes of Bam being able to do in the past, but now he's doing it in the NBA Finals on the biggest stage consistently, and it's huge for Miami. They need this, especially when Jimmy Butler isn't playing up to the level that we saw him play up to in the beginning of the playoffs, mostly I think due to that ankle injury, which hopefully he continues to get better from as these finals go on, but I wouldn't be surprised if he continues to look hobbled the rest of the way. Then there's Gabe Vincent, who led the Heat in scoring in this game with 23 points. He was phenomenal. It was efficient. He shot 8 of 12 from the field. He had 3 assists, a couple of steals as well. A plus 22 in this game. When Gabe Vincent was out there, the Heat were making things happen, and that's kind of the story for all their starters, but I want to show some love to Gabe Vincent in particular, just another undrafted guy for this Heat team that has really established himself over the course of these past few seasons. This year in particular, taking the starting job from Kyle Lowry, being a high-level offensive guy, holding his own on the defensive end, and earning himself an absolute bag in the process. Gabe Vincent has been one of the biggest success stories for the Heat this season, and one of the biggest reasons why they are where they are at the moment. I've also got to give a shout to Duncan Robinson, who at one point in this game completely took over, and it wasn't just him knocking down threes. He was attacking off the dribble. He was finishing with offhand layups through contact and ones. It was crazy. Like, Duncan Robinson has really evolved his game a bit as of late, going from strictly a 3-point shooter to attacking off the dribble, making some really solid reads in those situations. It's been really refreshing to watch, and it gives him so much more value on the court, allows him to be playable in many more situations when even the 3-point shot isn't falling. I just wanted to commend Duncan Robinson real quick. Also, he had a mean mug that felt very reminiscent to Tyler Heroes from a couple years ago when the Heat were on that finals run. Duncan Robinson just deserves a lot of love for the way that he's been playing, the way that he stayed ready. He got benched a lot throughout these past few seasons after his 3-point shots fell off a little bit. He's now kind of refining his value in a new way, and he's been a huge bonus to the Heat's offense and style of play all throughout this run to the finals and in these games. For the Nuggets in this game, Nikola Jokic led the way with 41 points, 11 rebounds, and 4 assists. He was amazing. Bam Adebayo played some amazing defense throughout the game on him, but there were just a couple possessions where Jokic had literal perfect offense that Bam couldn't do much about. And also, of course, like I mentioned, Jokic just completely destroyed Zeller when the two of them matched up throughout this game. He's an unstoppable force. Even if he's not getting a lot of help from his teammates, Jokic is very nearly going to will his team to victory regardless of the night. But the Heat did a good job of shutting off basically everybody else other than Nikola Jokic. Michael Porter Jr. shot just 2 of 8 from the field for 5 points. He was a minus 15 in this game, both offensively and defensively. He hasn't been himself throughout these first couple games of the NBA Finals. He's been really solid defensively over the course of the playoffs, has not been the case so far through these first 2 games. And offensively, he again was not providing, so he didn't really play too much in this game. He played just 26 minutes, which is the lowest out of any starter by far in this game. The second lowest was KCP at 36 minutes. It was very clear that Michael Malone could tell that he wasn't getting from MPJ what he needs, so he just didn't play as much, which I can applaud even though he is one of your star players. You've got to put out the best 5 that you have to try and win this game. And down the stretch when MPJ wasn't playing, the Nuggets made a comeback. They very nearly, after being down 10 with a few minutes to go, brought this one all the way back again. Jamal Murray had that shot right there at the buzzer to send this game to overtime that he missed. And overall in this game, I thought Murray was pretty good. They're definitely going to need more scoring from him, as well as, of course, Michael Porter Jr., who I really feel like is the guy that has to step up in a big way for Denver to reach their full potential and finish this series off as quick as they can. If he's shooting 2 of 8 from the field, not playing much defense, there's really no reason for MPJ to really even be out there. I want to give a shout to Christian Brown, who was really good in this game, especially early on. He shot 3 of 3 from the field for 6 points, but he also had 3 assists, 3 steals. His impact was really felt in his 15 minutes. He brought a lot of energy to the table. I like what he does as a role player off that bench. And overall, I was just really impressed with what he did in this game. I also want to quickly touch on the fact that Michael Malone did not call a timeout down the stretch of this game when the Nuggets got a stop and had a chance to send this to overtime with a 3, which a lot of people hate. A lot of people are really questioning that call, but to me, it kind of makes sense, at least from my perspective when you think about it. If you call a timeout, sure, you get to drop an offensive play and maybe you go ahead and get a good look, but I already kind of like the look that Jamal Murray got. I mean, they're the best offense in the NBA. The Heat's defense isn't set. If you call that timeout, you give Eric Spoelstra a chance to set those guys up, make substitutions for defensive personnel. He just went ahead, let his guys cook, and plus, if you do call that timeout and you inbound the ball, even if it's a perfectly set up play, the Heat can go ahead and just foul the second the guy catches the ball, sending you to the line to shoot 2 rather than having the chance to hit a 3. That's a lot more dangerous game to play when the opposing team is just in an open half-court setting. So overall, I really don't mind the call. Again, I know a lot of people hate it, but to me, it probably was the right decision. And if he hits that shot, everybody's calling Michael Malone a genius for not calling a timeout and letting them kind of just play things out. Aaron Gordon, again, played some pretty good defense on Jimmy Butler. He had 12 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 assists to go with a block, while shooting 5 of 7 from the field, 2 of 2 from 3 as well, which is huge. They need Aaron Gordon to knock down his threes. So really for the Nuggets, I feel like it's just, can you get more consistent play from some of your stars like Michael Porter Jr. in particular? Can you shut down the Heat's ability to knock down threes at a 49% clip? And for Miami, it feels like every game it's, are they hitting their threes? If they are, they have a great shot of winning this game. If they're not, things are going to get really difficult unless Jimmy Butler comes in and has an incredible performance, which again, with the ankle injury lingering, it feels like it's hard to see those typical heroic efforts from Jimmy. So they're going to need some amazing three-point shooting continuously. They need Bam Adebayo to keep locking up defensively. Even if Jokic is going to score 40 points, he made him work for every single bucket, which is huge. You can't let Jokic just get these easy looks, otherwise he's going to torch you. You can't consistently send doubles because he's going to pick you apart with playmaking. You need Bam to hold his own one-on-one. You probably also need to find a different option than Cody Zeller at the backup 5, to be honest. I would just match Bam's minutes with Nikola Jokic. When he's out of the game, they don't really have a traditional big playing off the bench, so you could probably play either Haywood Highsmith or Kevin Love at the 5, just go small ball for those possessions and try and just live with it, which honestly might just be the best outcome because every time Zeller is out there, it's a complete disaster. And yeah, those are my thoughts on game 2. Basically, the Heat showed that they absolutely still have a shot to win the series, even though a lot of people counted them out after game 1. Well, Denver has some things to work on, but I don't think they're in a very bad position whatsoever. And I think game 3 is going to end up being a toss-up between these two squads. I can't wait to see that matchup unfold. And yeah, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. It helps the channel out a ton. Also, comment down below who you have winning the series. What are your biggest takeaways from game 2 of the NBA Finals? I appreciate y'all watching. I'll see y'all later. Real one, say it back.